Good morning. We're here at the lovely site of Burgermaster. You may be wondering, why are we at Burgermaster? And I think it's pretty self-evident when you look behind me. This is the look and sound and feel of progress in terms of transportation in the Puget Sound area. And this is what propels our economy forward. So we're delighted to be here. Thank you to Burgermaster for allowing us to convene on their site today. We're here today really for two reasons. We want to thank the House for acting on a transportation package yesterday which propels the state forward. And we want to urge the Senate to continue their negotiations and to move a transportation package forward this year. We cannot afford to wait as projects only become more costly as time goes by. I'm Maud Dardon. I'm President and CEO of the Seattle Metropolitan Chamber. And business organizations agree that transportation is vital to our state's economy. Since the start of this effort, more than 8 months ago, to pass a transportation package, the Chamber has worked very closely with our business colleagues at the Washington Roundtable and the Association of Washington Businesses. Both Steve Mullen and Don Brunel would be here today if they weren't actively working this on the phones and in Olympia. They're available to all of the media here on an interview basis, so just be in touch with them. The information's on the media advisory. We've also worked very closely with other chambers across the whole state and businesses within the region, and you'll hear from some of them today. We have a handout circulating of all the business organizations that have been part of the effort to pass a transportation package. Business cares deeply about this issue. And business has been very grateful to our partners in the labor and environmental communities for their support of a comprehensive transportation package. I think Jeff Johnson and Rob Johnson were planning to come. I don't see them right here, right this moment, but we do appreciate their support of this effort. We've also been very grateful for our partners in local government who understand the importance of transportation for our economic lifeline. And with that, I am delighted to introduce Dow Constantine, King County Executive, to speak about his commitment to advancing transportation in our region and state.
Thank you, Maud. I want to thank you all for being here today because we are at the 11th hour for the Senate to act on a transportation package to save our buses and roads. These businesses, these local government officials and other transportation coalition members are here today because they know we need to invest in our transportation system to remain competitive in the global market. Through this entire effort, they have been part of a broad coalition that includes not only business and local government leaders, but also commuters and environmentalists, freight interests and labor groups, schools and hospitals, human service providers, bus riders and drivers, and everyone in between. In fact, it's hard to imagine who isn't part of this coalition. Well, we are here today because we need a state transportation package with local options to preserve our transit system for millions of riders and the roads and streets we all use every day. Here in King County, almost 120 million trips a year are taken on metro buses. Without funding, we will need to begin cutting transit dramatically. When demand is at an all-time high, we cannot let our buses be idle. We have $40 billion invested in our county road system, 1,500 miles, 180 bridges, and we are watching it fall to pieces. And another 5,500 miles of streets in our cities suffer from age and decades-old design that didn't envision the traffic of today. We also need smart investments in our state highways, like 520 behind us, like 405 and 167 and 509 to keep freight moving and to keep our world-leading industries flourishing in the global marketplace. Central Puget Sound is the economic engine of the state. King County alone represents fully half of the state's economy. For Washington to keep moving, King County and Puget Sound need to keep moving. But to keep King County, the region, and the state moving, we must invest in our state's transportation infrastructure, to have the authority to save Metro Transit service, and to repair and to maintain those thousands of miles of roads and bridges. Already, King County is having to close bridges, and we face the prospect of closing dozens more over the next couple of decades. We saw just over a month ago what happens when aging and functionally obsolete bridges continue in service, the importance of investing in our infrastructure. The House of Representatives, as Maud said, showed great leadership yesterday in passing a bill that ensures investment that will spur jobs and provide transportation solutions to benefit the people of this entire state every day. Well, I can't say it loudly enough. The Senate must act to pass this package. It is a matter of economic necessity for our citizens and for our businesses. This is a critical time in the history of our state. Those elected to lead, our senators from King County and senators from across the state, need to step up now for private sector jobs, for quality of life, for our economic future. We hope they will join us in this coalition. We hope they will join us and get on the bus and pave the way to prosperity. Thank you very much.
So other folks that are already on the bus and on the way to paving that road to economic prosperity are many, many chamber representatives from the Seattle Chamber. I just want to take a minute and thank Irene Plenifish from Microsoft, who is co-chair of our policy committee, Jared Smith, who's with Parsons Brinkerhoff and obviously very engaged in transportation across the state and has long been engaged with the Chamber's Transportation Committee. AAA Washington is here. AP Hurd is here as a development interest person from Touchstone Corporation. Bruce Agnew from the Cascadia Research Group is here. And Mary McWilliams took a time off of her vacation to join us today. So we really appreciate all of them being here. But I'm delighted to introduce Bob Donegan, who is President and CEO of IVARS and also chair of the Seattle Metro Chamber Board, to speak on behalf of the Chamber about our support of the transportation package. Bob?
So thanks everybody for coming, and thanks especially to Representative Judy Cliburn for getting the House bill through. We need the help of the Senate, and I'll give you two very specific examples of why we need it. Our chowder production plant in Mukilteo delivers all the chowder that you consume throughout Puget Sound through the distribution system in Auburn and in Kent. Jerry Knorr, who drives our truck, used to be able to make 3 trips a day between Mukilteo and Kent. With the disruption due to the traffic and congestion, he can only make 2. If we want chowder, we have to have the transportation bill. 71% of the people who work on the waterfront in downtown Seattle get to work on transit. We need the local option. Senators, we need you to act. Please pass the transportation bill.
So lest you think this is just a Seattle effort, not at all. We have some great partners in our friends Ernie Seamus and Patrick Bannon. Ernie is the president and CEO of the East Side Chamber Organization, and Patrick is president and CEO of the Bellevue Downtown Association. They'll be speaking back to back about their support of this package. Come on up, Ernie.
Good morning, everyone. You know, in the past decade, this state has made some wise and necessary investments in our transportation infrastructure. It was these investments that helped the state in general and the cities in the East King County in particular recover from our economic downturn recently. Bellevue is the second largest jobs hub in Puget Sound, but it only takes 1 or 2 rush hour traffic commutes to realize that if Washington is to remain a vibrant and growing economic hub, we must continue to invest in improving our regional and state transportation systems. For this reason, the East Side business community urges the Senate in Olympia to take up the transportation package recently passed by the House. Refusing to act threatens the fragile economic recovery that appears to be taking root. This package provides funding for crucial improvements to I-405, I-90, 167, and 509, as well as other projects across the state. Completing these projects will relieve congestion, help cities attract companies, and more importantly, jobs, and ensure the opportunity for continued economic growth on the east side and in the state of Washington. Thank you.
Thank you and good morning. My name is Patrick Bannon, president of the Bellevue Downtown Association. And I just want to reflect that almost every day we're in conversation with employers that are creating jobs, that have brought jobs here, and they're saying one of their top issues is transportation. And we really do need to continue to invest in our transportation system. Many of these improvements on 405 and on 520, key avenues of getting people to and from work, freight to and from their destinations, need to be improved. And those are plans that have been in place, and we need to build upon those plans. And so from a downtown perspective, from an area of the county that has agreed to accept growth along with other cities on the east side, we want to continue the momentum of investing in our transportation system. I urge the Senate to act on this bill and move us forward into the future. Thank you.
So, many of you know this, but 40% of our state's jobs are tied to trade. And a good chunk of the reason for this is our wonderful, naturally deep watered ports. Tom Albro, who is the chair of the Port of Seattle Commission, is here to speak on their behalf. Whoa.
Well, thank you, Maud, and thank you everybody for being here. Ports are really about jobs and economic opportunity. The Port of Seattle, which I'm privileged to serve, and the constituents of King County have 74 other ports and counterparts around the state. Ports are job engines, and what job engines need are transportation systems. As Maud referenced, 40% of the states and jobs in Washington state are trade related. While King County had some favorable economic numbers in terms of unemployment, dropping now to 4.3%, the same is not true for the rest of the state. Pierce County's unemployment rate actually increased and is over 8%. In Yakima County, it's almost 10%. Northeast Washington and out on the Olympic Peninsula, it's over 10%. Washington's economy doesn't work with a small pocket of prosperity. We need an economy that creates opportunity and access to trade from around our state, which is why my voice is added to the other voices calling on the Senate to not call it quits yet. We appreciate all the work that's been done in Olympia. This has been a very busy time. Just one more thing. Let's get the transportation package through so we can all get to work. Thank you.
So cities understand the importance of transportation investments to their own vitality. We have 3 mayors here today, as far as I know. We may have others, but Joan McBride from Kirkland is here, and we're pleased to have 2 mayors present their perspective on why this package matters. John Moscione is here from Redmond, and Pete Lewis is here from Auburn, so come on up.
Part of this package is about stewardship. We received a set of roads, a system from our parents and grandparents, and we need to be good stewards and take care of this asset, this part of our economy that helps us grow. We were not a large state 20, 30 years ago, but because we've invested in the past, we continue to grow. But stewardship requires maintenance. And it's like the old air filter commercial when the mechanic says, you can pay me now or you can pay me later, but either way you're going to pay me. I urge the state to vote now to move this transportation package because it'll be a fiscally responsible thing to do instead of waiting 5 or 10 years. And Redmond specifically has a story of a bridge at the end of 520 that in 1987 was a $1 million bridge, but that $1 million didn't come to be. So 12 years later, it was a $12 million bridge. These are the type of investments. Investing $1 in a good, solid road is better than investing $6 in a road that's beat up and torn down. And we're coming to that place where we need to reinvest. Sometimes we don't like to pay the money to replace our roof, but we know that if we don't replace our roof, it's going to do further damage. Like our road system, we need to invest now. Putting it off to later is only going to make it that much more difficult. So we urge the Senate to complete the good work that the House has done and move us forward by passing a package. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Pete Lewis, the mayor of Auburn, and I'm here representing the great cities of South King County as well. I am a fiscal conservative. I choose a path to become the vice chair of the 167 Completion Coalition, and I chair the South County Area Transportation Board to support the 509 Completion Coalition. I was one of the first mayors to sign up on the King County local options, and I did that for a reason. It is good fiscal sense. We need to have the partnership you see here before us. I've talked to labor, and I've talked to the businesses, I've talked to the cities from the east side and the west. The farmers in Yakima need this to happen just as much for the people in downtown Seattle. All across our state, we are tied to this region. 3 out of every 10 jobs, 30% or more of our income comes out of this region, and we must find a fiscally responsible way to move forward. This is our moment in time. This is the moment when our elected leadership can come together and take that bold step to make sure that our next 20 years, our next 30 years, our next 40 years are successful, that we have a bright future here in this state where we know we always work together for the common good. It's time to take that bold step. It's time for leadership. We thank the House of Representatives for the work they've done. We call on that one more step of bold leadership from our senators to represent us and to move our state forward. Thank you all for all being here. We appreciate your help. Please ensure that we move forward together. Thank you.
So I think the message is pretty simple. We business and community leaders stand united in calling upon the Senate to take action on a transportation package this year that will move our regional and state economy forward. Thank you very much for being here. Any of us are happy to take questions individually, and we appreciate you taking the time at Burgermaster this morning. Thank you.